As much as I love the idea of like outing a man who is cheating, what we're actually seeing now is a lot of women causing a lot of harm to total strangers on the internet, and also reinforcing purity culture and heteronormative ideas around marriage that maybe not every couple practices. And I want to use a viral story to get into this, because I know I see this on my page all the time. I've done it with other people. We've all done it, right? Where you see like a dude has cheated on his girlfriend or whatever, and you want justice, not just really even for her, but more for your own sake, right? But also anybody who has spent enough time online, but especially anyone who's ever made content, by now that when you give attention to something and you put it on the internet, you do not control who sees that. I am very, 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 very thoughtful about what I talk about and what I don't talk about in terms of pylons. Like, that's one reason why I criticize celebrities so much. They have a whole legal team. They have more money than you and I will ever have. And they are not watching any of this stuff. And sometimes I have been actually too mean about it, and I think I want to work on that. But also, as a comedian and like a culture critic or whatever it is I am, that's my job too. And we can learn a lot about just our culture and even our own stories through other people's stories. But what I don't like is when a woman who is being cheated on, her story of her husband or boyfriend cheating on her going viral, and her anonymity, they're being robbed from her because of him. And not just because of him, but because of women who assumed that they know the whole story, who assumed that this man should be humiliated and outed without even thinking about, have you ever been in that situation where the man you were with was doing things that were horrifying and humiliating to you and you couldn't leave? Because I have. Whether you're dating that man or if you ever been related to that man, by the way, it's not just people you date. But we know that women suffer the consequences of men's actions. We always do. We always have. And so whatever they're doing to drag that dude, and I'm going to get into it in a minute, which dude I'm talking about, his wife, I promise you, is suffering so much more and is way more humiliated and will probably be outcast from society. And that man will never experience probably any consequences. Some other woman who has not deconstructed any of this stuff and has her own daddy issues or abuse or trauma for her own past will swoop in and clean up his life for him, and he will move on. He will move on, especially if he's a white man. But you know who will not move on, who may be impoverished now? Is his wife. Not only that, I actually learned this the hard way. Not the hard way, but I've learned this before I made a mistake about it. When I was in LA, I didn't realize that there were some married couples that I knew who were in open relationship. And I saw one of their husbands on the dating apps. This happened twice. One time, she did not know. And boy, was she glad she knew. But they weren't married yet. Another time, I wasn't as close of friends with her. I wasn't close enough to be like, hey, did you know your husband's on the dating app? So I didn't say anything. And then it actually came up later in conversation when we were talking that they were in an open relationship. And it was her idea. And they were actually doing great. And so I was like, whew, I'm glad. So knowing when to tell someone, I consider myself a girl's girl. I'm not perfect. But what I think a lot of women think they're being girls when they're not. It's causing so much harm. But in any case, when I did that, it was privately. It was privately. I'm not going to post that all over the internet. And I was very careful how I approached that, if I should approach it, because I would want to know. But the way this is happening online, and this woman is so wrong. She is so wrong. And it's also clearly because of her own indoctrination and whatever we're going to get into. But when you out someone publicly, find, hey, this man was cheating. Your name is da. Let's find him. Great. If the internet can find him, they're going to find her. They're going to find her. She probably doesn't want to be found. So I think we need to really think more about when we're doing stuff like this. What is our motive? Are we actually, not even, okay, what is our motive, A, and what's the impact going to be? Because even if we have good motives, We do not know the whole story. That woman, I'm pretty sure she didn't, but that woman may have been in an open relationship, may have been in an abusive relationship. There's so many scenarios where like now her whole life has blown up because some woman on TikTok was like, hey, find him, he's cheating. Now he was on this flight, this his name, put his face online, and now this poor woman, oh my God. Anyway, let's get into it. Actually, before we do, I am in Greece. I'm on vacation, but I have to work on vacation some. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to give you something pretty to look at. This is our hotel. $60 a night. We moved to another hotel. I got to give you the whole story. I'm really good at finding good deals whenever I travel. Look at this. Look at this huge balcony. Huh. Anyway, also, please follow my Patreon. That's where you're going to see more travel stuff, more personal stories, more than my lives are over there. I got 2 big ones coming up with a best-selling author and one of the lawyers that took down Larry Nassar. Yes, that one. The one who abused all those gymnasts. Anyway, let's get into the story. Okay, so this woman on TikTok is the one who first started calling out how messed up it was that this other woman, and please go watch this video. I'm going to include a link. She does a whole breakdown about this, and I absolutely agree about how all these women who think they're doing something are not doing what they think they are by like, you're not being a girl's girl. I would show it, but I'm going to get a copyright violation, so I'm not going to show it. I'm just going to link it. But I believe she's the first person who called this out. I want to give credit where credit's due because she's absolutely right, and I absolutely agree with her. I'm going to share some other takes as well. And her handle is pretty critical. So it has been all over the New York Post. It's been all over the whatever. I caught a woman's hubby cheating. First of all, I hate the word hubby. Oh my God. I hate that. You will never hear me say that word. If you use it, great for you, but just it's like, I don't know, something about it. I feel like it's like encouraging the infantilization of your husband already. But anyway, whatever. Most of them act like infants anyway. Okay, I caught a woman's hubby cheating on a flight, and I'm doing the Lord's work by exposing him. No, you're not. You're not doing the Lord's or whatever. You're doing the devil's work, but I don't believe in either of them. So she posted this video. She literally showed his face. If this man is your husband flying United flight, like literally all the details. 2140 from Houston, New York. He's probably going to be staying with Katie. So now he also exposed this lady. I don't even know if this. The only people going to get harmed by this are the 2 women that this woman did this to. 24 million views on TikTok alone. And then all these articles, all these people wrote about it. The Mile High Mistress, known as Katie, shamelessly canoodling during their 4-hour flight. First of all, I've already looked into the story more than I want to know. But you will never sometimes women absolutely go after married men, but you will never, ever, 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 ever convince me that woman is ever more guilty than the man. And most women I know who have been involved with men who cheat, they conveniently don't mention things like they have a wife and children. And then a lot of women absolutely are doing. I'm not excusing women who go after married men. What's her name? Ariana Grande or whatever her name is. Like, let her be an example of a woman with a lot of unresolved dad issues who just goes out and tries to destroy marriages on purpose. Like, I'm not excusing that behavior. But I am saying there are also a lot of times it is a men lying about their wives, like literally doing all the stuff that they do to, oh, we're in an open relationship. Oh, she's doesn't understand me. Oh, like we have like blah, like whatever. Or they don't even tell the person that they have one until they've already like connected. Anyway, just adding that little nuance. I don't know if Katie knew I don't care. I can't go back into this story. I already read it like a week ago and I'm like, oh, I'm behind on stories. It's really hard. The news right now, between the Supreme Court, the Chevron, like criminalizing homeless, like I can't stay off Twitter every day, and it's like whatever. It's like poor boundaries with myself, and then the election in France, and now we have the far right majority. Great, we are might beat the United States at the sprint to ism. Anyway, but like this woman did this whole video. Apparently he was wearing his wedding ring, whatever. Just because he's wearing a wedding, he could have said I'm divorced. He could have said my wife is dead and I don't want to take it off. This woman, stop recording people. And I mean, unless it's the police or a man abusing you, it's not to stop recording people because phones are one reason, the only thing that keeps a lot of people say, especially from cops, especially if you're black. This is not what that woman is doing. Is not what this is. This is surveillance. This is like purity culture. This is or this is a woman who wants to go viral and is like, perfect. And she went viral. 24 million. The most I've ever had on any video was like 1 million. That was once in 3 years on TikTok. 24 million for doing what? Recording something that's going to destroy his wife's life. The way that people record people and put them on blast online, if that person is like, there's a balance. Record the people with power. Record the people harming you. But don't do this. This is so disturbing. I understand the instinct to do it, but I promise you, especially when I show you her profile, it is her heteronormative policing of people's relationship, wanting to go viral, unresolved trauma of her own or some crap, but it is not being a girl's girl. It is quite the opposite. So I am blocking out their names, but there were articles that were literally like, who is blah, 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 the wife of cheating husband, blah, blah, blah. That is literally the name, identified as the last word of that thing. There are article after article. I haven't even been up to date. This is like my research from 5 days ago. All the information, where they live, what state, what city, like their jobs. Oh my God. From my understanding is that this was not the first time, because people will find information. I don't know. From what I heard, he's already had another affair, la la. You know what? I'm not even going to look into it anymore, but I wouldn't be surprised if this woman is dealing with a cheating, exploitative, even maybe abusive. Doesn't have to be physically. Could literally be just emotionally negging, lying, cheating, betrayal, trauma, all the bad things. Weaponizing. There's no telling what this man's doing. Maybe she can't leave. I mean, if they're in Texas especially, women in Texas are particularly vulnerable right now. In Texas, married to a white man, everything is on this man's side. What is she supposed to do now? Get a divorce? Does she have a job? She's probably talked into being a stay-at-home mom for all we know. We do not know why this woman is with him. Maybe she just doesn't realize how terrible he is and needs to, but it's not like this. This footprint on the internet will never go away. All because this lady decided to record her husband. And let me tell you something. Most abusers are cheating. I would be surprised if any abusers are not cheating. That is like one of the very first things they do is cheat. So there's a very high likelihood that this man doesn't value her and doesn't treat her well. And maybe she's been wanting to leave for a long time. Maybe she's been lining up her ducks in a row to serve those divorce papers, but has been putting money away. Maybe she had a whole plan. And now, but I promise you, the last thing she needed right now was for everyone to know her name, her husband's name, her kid's name. And who is this lady that just decided to do this? Doesn't have very many followers on Instagram. I don't know anything about this woman's life. But I will say this, the reason why I looked into her is because when you do this to somebody, you open yourself up to investigation. If you are going to post something that you know is going to go viral, like a lot of times when things go viral, you don't know are going to go viral, but this woman knows that those kinds of videos on TikTok go viral all the time because women want to help other women find their cheaters. But I don't think that they're actually helping most times. They are humiliating the women. Anyway, this is her man. She actually, in addition to all the videos that she made about this other woman's marriage, she also made one with her man. She's been getting criticism that she's with such an old dude. She made this whole video about how when people think I'm offended saying that he's old enough to be your dad, he is, and he treats me like a queen. Maybe some of you should worry about finding someone who loves you like this. Like, maybe some of you should mind your business after I just ruined someone's marriage. So anyway, who's this dude? Like, I'm actually just as worried about this woman because she seems to be really delusional about, oh my God. Like, I even feel bad doing this. The only reason why I'm doing this is because everyone knows her and she's all viral now. And then she's like shaming us for pushing back and being like, but what about you? This dude looks like your dad. Shut up. You can't have it both ways. You can't invade someone's privacy. A perfect stranger who has no power and money versus like a celebrity that they know, they have a whole PR team, they have lawyers. And I mean rich celebrities. I don't mean people who are just like TikTok famous. I mean celebrities, right? Who have the whole Holly, like, you know what I mean? Like Nepo baby, like celebrity. Not only did this woman, she had 24, she made update videos. She didn't even learn her lesson. I think she privated that one video that went viral, and then she made more. Update. They were in the bathroom making out. I got more footage. Like, the way that this woman, anyway, I get it. This woman has a lot of healing to do and has her own ideas of marriage. But they seem rooted in patriarchy. I'm going to show you. Is this man like 65? Like, dude, how old are you? We do know he was in the military, probably still is. And men who in the military have a very high likelihood of being abusive because Uncle Sam is absolutely abusing them. And in my experience, knowing a lot of women in the military, the women who are in the military, thank you, Robin, for the stories you've told me, they get treated awful. But the wives of these military men, their children are oftentimes abused because of that hierarchical, like, stay in line. Daddy's the boss in this house. I'm not saying all men in the military are like this, but I'm saying it is more common than not. It's like dating a policeman. And who is this guy? Hondo. Well, you can just tell from this photo right here. If you don't know what that means, this is like MAGA stuff. I mean, this is his content. So that is the kind of man that this woman is with. And he's way older. So my guess is that she may have been groomed by this man or whatever. So it also proves the point that a lot of women who go looking for problems in other people's relationships are usually, I don't know, maybe you need to go to some codependency meeting or go to a therapist, talk about codependency, or just literally go and deal with whatever trauma you've got. But or maybe you're a part of the church. Not all churches, but the churches that love this kind of stuff. But so here's some other stories that people shared. I was in a situation once where my ex's cheating became publicly known, and when she said, "All your friends know, all your enemies know," that right there, that's something I hadn't even thought about. By this woman exposing this cheating husband, now all of her enemies know. Now anyone who hated her has something to use against her. Way to go, Renee. I could not control anything about that situation once it reached a certain point of public knowledge. Posts like these fundamentally value entertainment over privacy. Exactly. But position themselves as a form of activism or justice. To those participating and celebrating this kind of behavior, your addiction to surveillance and attention is betraying the fact that although you're... Oh crap, I lost the end of that quote. That's what that video is about. I'm going to go watch the whole video. She's straight on. The addiction to surveillance and attention is what that's really about. It's not activism. It's not being a girl's girl, not helping anybody. It is literally becoming hyper obsessed with other people's lives to avoid your own. And it's all for entertainment, other people's misery. And it's like fake justice. Nothing is going to happen to that man. Everything's going to happen to that woman. Who has the power in that situation? I really like this one. Can I just say I really do not like this thing that it seems like primarily women are doing, where they use the enormous power of social media to try and enforce their idea of relationship purity on strangers. Relationship purity. Again, there are plenty of couples now, even cishet couples, who have open relationships. If somebody did that to me, if we opened ours up, and we have talked about that maybe being a possibility. I'm the one who brought it up. I don't know if I can be monogamous forever. I don't know if I want to open up, but maybe you will one day. If somebody was like, film, and then this could be me. This could be you. This could be any of us. And now there's a target on this woman's head because of this lady, Renee. And then this right here, Ashley Reese, love her takes. I can only assume that the people who truly cannot fathom the idea that a woman might not feel empowered by her husband's infidelity going viral are like 19 years old. Right? This is so immature, and yet so many people are doing it. I think there are grown people blindly defending this brand of vigilantism. That's the perfect word. I didn't say it right, but which is really goofy. That's exactly what this is. Anyone who knows about the history of white women, especially in the South, knows that this is what we do. This kind of violence is what we are well known for, and it's sick, and we need to stop. This, like, witch hunt thing. I know that men have been using witch hunt wrong since Me Too. But my people really do take this, where this mob mentality of like, let's scam, and it is, I'm just saying, that's a different subject. But white women, when we do this stuff, this pylon, this go get 'em, a lot of times we are so not doing, not only are we not doing the right thing, we are doing something so violent and immoral in the name of something else. If you ever feel that urge to pile on and go find someone, please pause. Please stop. That is what my people did for a very long time. And I think that instinct is still in so many of us. I'm not saying, and no, obviously it's not just white women who are doing that. I'm just saying, I see it in my people, and it scares the crap out of me. But I also know my history. But when I see it come up, whether it's it's like, whoa, take a beat. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? What's this really about? Who's going to get harmed here? Because that Renee lady just caused so much harm. And now she probably has a ton of followers now. Stepped on another woman to get there. That is not being a girl's girl. That is not being feminist. That's not being anything but literally using the violence and the power of all these systems to blow up another person's life, the whole family's life. And the person who did the thing that was probably wrong, we don't even know because maybe it's an open relationship, but probably he was doing something bad. He's the only person who will not suffer. We know that. The other women in his life will clean it up, and the men won't care. And then he'll go to the church and be like, I'm sorry, and everyone all will be forgotten, but she's the one who might be left homeless, divorced with no money. Like, we don't even know. Please don't do this to people. Please stop. It is not helping. If you're going to tell someone, tell them privately. Don't do this. Anyway, sorry, it was a little depressing subject. Join my Patreon if you want to see more stuff. I'm trying my best to take some downtime, but I have to work. I can't take 2.5 weeks off of work, but I'm just not posting as much. So thank you for still supporting my work. And I can't be as loud here and crazy, and maybe that's a good thing because I have like neighbors. But I did bring my puppets and the microphone, and I hope the cleaning the maid, the cleaning lady, doesn't judge me too harsh. Okay, I actually want to share one more thing about this. And I got my hair cut, and I ran out of time last time. I want to share this article from the New York Times because I want to help us reframe the current culture that we're in, and how not just around like cheaters and blah blah blah, but just about this surveillance culture. Because yes, it's great, we can figure out cases, and are we dating the same person? But a lot of times it's actually just more of the police state mentality. And especially now that I don't live in the US, I can see how it is like not, it's like people in, I'll just say France, for instance, but it's very similar in my experience living in Spain. And just also one of my best friends lives in Germany, and I'm like literally not allowed to take pictures of children at all. Like if I'm taking a photo and there's a child in the photo, I have to be very careful to not get their face in the photo, even if it's just like a general photo, because the privacy laws are really important. So let me go over one more thing in the New York Times, because I think this is just something for people to think about. So this is about that story that I just talked about. And it just basically talks about unwittingly and without your consent at any moment, you could become social media's main character and not the good kind. And again, I don't think this is a bad thing unnecessarily in terms of recording people using their power and privilege to harm others or harm yourself. It's literally like it holds people with power accountable, especially the police. And I love that. And it holds men accountable as well if they are harassing or targeting women or femmes or, anyway, it can be used for good. But what is also terrifying about it is that a lot of my people especially have taken it to become just police, vigilantes. So they talk about this case, and they talked about, some people are applauding this kind of stuff and other people are more skeptical, like how people are using social media, especially TikTok. It's not what they're doing, it's how they're doing it, and the unintended or maybe intended consequences of doing these things. All of us are not just being thrust under a high-powered microscope through these different platforms, but we're also turning the camera on other people as we mine not just our own lives for content, but the lives of others around. And, I've been getting better about this as soon as I left the U.S. and I started to realize that so many of my friends, my first boyfriend in France, like so many people over here, like don't even use their own profile photo for like their Facebook stuff. Or they're just like, they use usernames that aren't even their names, or and they put symbols over the kids' faces. And I've started to do that, not like, especially because I have like people who stalk me online all the time. And I just don't want to like, it's like I only share posts of family members and children in my family on a very controlled, like with close friends now, where I just put something on their face to blur it out a little bit because they're not consenting to that stuff. And I'm also so afraid of like PD. It's this thing about mining for content that's so gross. It's like the worst form of capitalism. It feels like natural consequences of reality TV, but it's like not even like, but no one is signing a contract. No one is getting paid. No one has a talent agency representing them after they end up on a viral video. You know what I mean? At least people on reality shows, even those people don't quite know what they're signing up for, but at least if they do their research and, run everything by lawyers and really talk to former cast members, at least they might have a little bit of an idea what they're in for, but at least they're getting paid or they're getting something out of it. But when people are like being mined for content against their consent, they're not getting paid, not like they didn't ask for this. I just find that to be so disturbing. Same reason why I think all of these family vloggers and people who make money off of showing their kids, it's not that you can't show kids on social media, but if you're making all your money off of those kids and making them work, then, in the industry, children have a whole lot more rights. And even those are exploited, as we know, as any kids who come out of Hollywood end up being like deeply traumatized usually. But at least they have an 8-hour cap on the days they can work. That's why they always had like, people who are over 18 who looked really young playing teenagers or even, Beverly Hills 90210. And one chick was like 32. But anyway, they do that to avoid child labor laws because they're really strict and they have like unions and stuff. And again, even those kids get exploited, but these family vloggers, they're just, so I really hate this whole thing about putting people on the internet without their consent in terms of, it happens sometimes, but like this, I absolutely don't agree. And I used to be really kind of careless about this until I moved to Europe. And then I started realizing like, oh, right. They don't do that here. They're not filming people against, and actually in France, I don't know how much it's enforced, but it's illegal to use someone's image without their consent and make money off of it. Like you are not just allowed to just, that's why Emily Paris wrote a whole article for Slate about that. Like that's not even accurate. She's like out there filming people and making money off of it. And I'm like, you can't do that. Unless they're like doing a performance or something. Like I'll film those and they like everyone's filming that. But just filming someone riding the subway and like showing their face. If I ever film anything, I try to cut out their face. Like I'm not perfect, but like it's just, but like this in just violating people's privacy. And especially if you have a huge platform and you make a lot of money, especially if it's a monetized platform, it's like, ugh. So this is the video I was referring to in the beginning, where, and I love that they quoted her in the New York Times, Tamika Turner, where she talks about your only allegiance is to your own entertainment. Oh, such a good way to put it. How many users in TikTok who describe the sneaky recording as an act of feminism, which it's not. Social media has brought out inner sleuths in recent years. Again, some of those people are like, finding out stuff because like the police are worthless half the time because they don't even care about it. Whatever. I've already talked about this enough, but they're not committed to actually finding a lot of people because they are just abusers themselves. That and police brutality. Like, some say there's a fine line between accountability and vigilantism, and that monitoring one another's behavior online creates an atmosphere in which many may fear they are being constantly watched. Yeah. Did not everybody read 1984? That is like the terrifying book. Dr. Duffy calls this phenomenon imagined surveillance. Oh, That feeling that anything you do at any time, no matter how benign, could be recorded and used against you. So many of the boundaries between personal and professional, between celebrity and ordinary, have slipped away. And again, I think this is necessary in order for people who don't have power and especially are being constantly attacked. This is a necessary tool for people to protect themselves. The more marginalized you are, the more you need cameras. My problem is it's usually white people doing this. Not always, but it's usually white people doing this and doing it wrong and doing it to cause harm. It's not only white people doing this, okay? If you're white here and you don't know what I'm talking about, just stick with me here, okay? But especially in the United States, this police state mentality, this like punishment, this punitive culture that we are so indoctrinated in, it comes out with social media. And it's some social media users were using so-called accountability as a guise for more sinister ends. I think that people use the language of accountability when they mean surveillance and punishment. Are we accountable to the people that we've harmed, or are we accountable to the internet at large? And again, this goes back to taking a beat and thinking about the intended consequences. Are you really using this video to help the wife? Or are you really using this, like there's so many things that have gone viral where I'm like, yeah, or even recently, like cameramen. This isn't even like, this is like actual like news people recording two girls eating ice cream at like a baseball game or something. And of course the internet, like even if their intent wasn't to schmegelize these girls, we know what culture we live in. And so they blew up, went viral for like eating ice cream. So all these men on the internet were now like schmegelizing these girls who were just sitting at watching a show, eating ice cream. I think they tried to sue them. And they're like, it's not our fault people say that. Anyway, it's just understanding the power of putting a lens in front of somebody and putting it on a massive platform. Unless you are literally coming from a place of not having power, and the person that's going to be harmed by it is somebody who is accountable for harm that they're doing, and it's not going to impact anyone who's innocent in their life, who has no power. Like, anyway, it's just like a whole thing people don't think about. It drives me crazy. This person points, some people want engagement, morally neutral. Some creators do it through building community, and others do it through shock and outrage. Like, everybody knows that if you do something, well, everyone will be mad about something, and they can go like feel and like they're a part of something. If it means like outing a cheater, that's going to go viral. It almost always does. But they're not thinking about like the shock and outrage and other, like a lot of women's lived experiences and trauma is being exploited. Look at this. There's a cycle where someone puts out content, and if they get that engagement and the content was negative, they'll continue to make negative content, and they're going to continue to fuel the cycle to feed the beast. I think they mean fuel the cycle, whatever. I also talk about how a lot of these clips almost never offer the full story, but they tend to spread across the internet quickly as a result of attention economy, in which infuriating content is often a quick route to algorithmic reward. So that's the last thing I'm going to comment about this, is that, as y'all know, me and my amazing moderators, we delete comments from men who come in here to try to start crap with y'all, because I don't want that kind of engagement. I would rather build very slow, but intentional, and the energy of my page be one that I want to be on my own page, and I want other people to be on my own page. And Bourbon Bougie, by the way, is the one who really role modeled this for me. Of just not wasting women's time fighting with men who are not going to listen to them. It is a waste of your time. And I want to role model me not fighting with these men. And I don't want them on my page. I don't want their little friends coming on my page, because the algorithm sends them to their inchmel friends. And so I delete stuff like that, because I don't want negative crap just for the algorithm to be friendly to me, which means that I grow slow as crap. Like, I have been stuck at 23,000 or around 23,000 for like 2 or 3 months now. I've been on YouTube for a little over a year, and I can't grow. I don't know why. The algorithm, whatever. We also know the algorithm is incredibly biased and sexist and racist and all those other things, right? but it's also because I'm not feeding the beast of like piling on and like arguing with men who aren't even listening and who are literally trying to waste your time. So I know from personal experience and that negative engagement goes viral. And that's also why you will see someone coming on there and saying some like crazy sexist or racist stuff. And what happens? They go viral because they are going viral for like to people who are like trying to correct them or talk back and like whatever. It's just that we know how it works. So please do not buy into this like you're going to save someone's marriage by trying to like if you see content like this, please, I know it's so hard to like not watch it, not engage with it, not stitch it, not do all those things. If I ever do have like a response video to like some man doing some stuff, which I rarely do, I'll only use it for a teachable moment, and I won't show his handle and I won't stitch it because I don't want anybody going to his page and giving him money by watching his stuff. I don't want him making money off of our lived experiences of trauma, right? And I also don't want to give women like Renee money in her pocket to exploit another woman who didn't ask for this in the name of finding the cheater, ruining his life. But really he's married and ruining the family's life, Anyway. That's all I have to say about that. Thank you for being here. I hope you like the view. Unbelievable. I'll try to remember to make a video about how I find really good deals. And I'm having a wonderful time with my family. Played in the pool all day with my nieces. About to go get some food with them now. Please follow my Patreon. I'm doing more travel stuff over there. I've got 2 great lives coming up with author of Uncultured on July 21st. I think it's a Sunday, and one with a lawyer of Larry, the lawyers who took down Larry Nassar in August. That date is soon to be announced. Just follow over there so that you can see my stuff and you get notifications, because I can't even trust, because especially if I'm not making really negative stuff, that you will ever see any of this. But if you follow my Patreon, you will. Even there's a free membership, whatever. Thank you for being here. Like, comment, share, blah, blah, blah. Because we're deleting comments that create engagement that sucks. So your more positive comments and engagements are very much appreciated. Et voila. Let me know if you heard the comment song. Did you make it to the comment song? The comment song? The comment song? Did you make it to the comment song? Or did you bail before it? If you made it to the comment song, the comment song, the comment song. If you made it to the comment song, then you're a winner. Hey, tell me you made it to the comment song. Hey, 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 tell me you made it to the comment song. Comment now. Hey, welcome to the comment song. We're about to end the comment song. Hey, tell me I made it to the comments. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I messed it up. Okay. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Your time's running out. Wrap it up. Bye-bye. Et voilà.